Hi, I'm Ryan Crosby. Today I'm going to show you how to heat and flare a lateral support to change the width between the lateral contours. And this is the back with our soft foam polyurethane liner. I've already taken the cover off and I've removed our screws that hold the shells together. All right, just take this apart, and what we want to do, we're going to pretend that we're closing this lateral on this left side up a bit. We could be flaring it out too. Either way, it's the same technique. First thing I'm going to do is make a mark. Usually I make it right at about the hole where the T-nut is, but just mark the distal end of the lateral so that you're taking your measurement in the same spot every time. So I have 13 3/4 currently. Just going to jot that down, 13 3/4 right on the shell. And I'm picking the lateral that's, typically you want to heat and flare in or out the lateral that's on the opposite side of their concavity. So if they're collapsing to the right, you'd want to flare out the left side. But sometimes the compound curve in the back shell makes flaring one side almost impossible. So you have to pick the side that's got the least amount of compound curve, and that's when it curves in multiple directions. So I'm going to heat this side, this lateral on the left, and I want to heat it up. I don't want to go right across the vent hole, just to the side of the vent hole, right about where the lateral starts to curve forward. Okay, just like that. I'm only going to mark it on the inside, because as soon as you heat a mark that you place on this, it basically tattoos that mark into the shell. So you don't want to mark it on the outside and then heat on the outside, because you'll have a permanent silver mark. Okay, so I'm going to use a blowtorch here. You want to heat this right along the inside mainly, only occasionally drawing the heat to the outside. But for the most part, we're going to heat along the inside so it doesn't damage the aesthetics of the outer shell. It takes a second, so we're gonna bring that in. Let's say we're bringing this in another inch, more medially. I'm just gonna heat it till it turns nice and looks like the plastic's starting to melt a little bit. It takes a minute or two. And remember, occasionally just kind of bring that heat to the outside. You can use a heat gun to do this, but it will take probably 4 times as long to do it. And every now and then you can test how much you've got. Oh, looks like I got a little ways to go. We're getting there. The key thing about this is once we're done flaring this, we do need to make sure we can cool it quickly. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm going to bend it beyond where I want to flare it. It will rebound a little bit. So that is 13 inches. There we go. So I could take this, run it under a sink right now, and that water, cool water, will cool it down rapidly. You just can't let it dry naturally, because it will just bounce right back to where it was before. So whatever method you can use to cool it down rapidly, an air gun or a spray bottle or a wet rag or something, works great. I've got 11 1/4. So it's the same concept. If I wanted to go to the outside, I could just flare it out to where I want it. I go a little beyond, because it will rebound just a little, but cool that rapidly and it'll stay put. All right, 11 inches there. So I've got my inner shell. We've got it, let's say theoretically it's cooled down rapidly. Just set that off to the side for a second. We're going to grab our inner liner. If you've only changed the width just a little bit, this might flex enough to follow the contour without having to heat this shell. But most often you're probably going to have to heat this. So I'm going to have to peel away the tape right along this line, and And also peel back the spandex that's covering our vent hole there. I don't want to heat across the foam, and I don't want to heat across the tape, because it will melt the foam and it'll smell really bad. And ruin it. So there we go. Just peel that back. Depending on how good the glue is, you might have to cut. Okay. I'm going to tape this foam. Well, no, I'm going to hold it out of the way after I remove this other tape. So we're only going to heat in that straight line. So I don't really need to move the tape around the entire perimeter, just along the edges where I'll be heating. Okay, there we go. And now I'm just going to heat the same plane that I heated on this on the outer shell, but just the back side of this one. I'm not going to go around to the front. A little close to the foam. Make sure I get that out of the way. There we go. This one doesn't take nearly as long. The white plastic will start turning a brownish color. And that gives you a good indication that you're done. There, we got plenty of heat there. I'm going to set that back in our shell. Okay, and just kind of hold that into the contours. Now you could let this cool naturally. That would be okay, just to let that sit there, or you can tape it to the shell just to let it cool, or hit it with an air gun or something to cool that down. But that is how you flare it. Now once you've flared that in or out, and this is cooled, then you can go back and retape that foam back to the inner shell. Then you can put your cover on and you're all set. You've just modified the width between your lateral contours in the field without having to send it back to ride. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to help. Otherwise, thanks a lot and have a great day.